What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer, taking a look at my most updated Galaxy Eyes list. I'm going to show some combos after this, and then I'll show some gameplay video. That way you get an idea of what it's all about, and then you can see it in action. Okay, so starting off with my going second cards, this deck is like really weak to essentially any like interruption, so you kind of have to go all out in a sense. I'll show you what I have. So I have 2 Lightning Storm, 3 Imperm, 3 Dark Ruler, and 2 of the Jizakuri Kiri. I never know how to say this stupid card. The Light Kaiju. You would think maybe you want to play Light Hand Traps because of Galaxy Soldier, and you could like affect Valor and Nibiru. Seems like so many people are on like Triple Tactics Talent and Thrust right now, so kind of feel like it's better to not play this. Most of the time you want to discard like Galaxy stuff to the graveyard too with Soldier. Like discarding a hand trap feels really bad. So it kind of works out. And I'll show some replays so you can kind of see. Very strange that this got semi-limited, but it is what it is. 2 copies of Ascended Sage. You don't really want to see this card, but if you draw one, you need to have another copy in your deck because Utopic Sage only summons from deck, not from hand or deck. So if you have it in your opening too, it's not bad, right? It's a free special summon, which is pretty cool. But yeah, you definitely need to play at least 2. You can play 3, but I play 3 Thrasher, and the 2 cards are like literally opposites of each other. If you see both in your hand, it's actually like really bad, but you could also get an extra normal summon when it comes to Photon Emperor, so it's not always the worst thing in the world, but it kind of works for me because if you have like Photon Thrasher in your opening and you also open Orbital, like you're gonna have such a really good combo because you haven't even normal summoned yet, and that's just nuts in Galaxy Eyes if you can do that now. Or at least the way that I play it. 2 copies of Vanisher. You never want to see... it's only like a % chance, but you never want to see like 2 copies of this in your opening, and you just have less of a chance of doing that if you run 2. It's a free special summon, which is really cool, but again, I've had so many times like when I played this at high amounts, especially these 2 together, where you just see like bad combinations between the 2. It's good if you open it. If not, it is what it is. This is the new card, so this is kind of how the deck works now, and the only way that it really, really works. That's a Photon Delta Wing. It's crazy. It's an extra 4. Essentially any rank 4 base deck. It's really what this is. If they just get cards that like give you 1 extra rank 4, like you can almost always do the Utopia combo, but it's actually like really special because like they have 2 cards now that bring back rank 4s, which definitely helps the power level like significantly. So like Galaxy Summer is one of the new cards. I can't wait for this to come out. It's going to be really, really good for the archetype. Photon Advancer is just like one of those free special summons. And maybe you want to run this at 3 and you can get rid of one of these. I don't know. I guess you can kind of decide for yourself. But it's just another one of those cards where it's not really cool to see 2 in your hand. Photon Orbital obviously is kind of like your Omni Searcher in the deck. It's also a rank or level 4, not rank 4, which helps a lot. You can do a lot of cool things with it. Onto the big monster lineup here. It's Photon Emperor, Afterglow Dragon, and Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. Very small, and I guess that's kind of one of the big differences from like when I originally made the deck. I thought it was so focused on rank 8s, but it's easier to make rank 8s through the rank 4 engine. Is really what it comes down to. These cards are all pretty much all searchable, or you can send them to the graveyard. You know, you do have an XYZ, a rank 4 that searches everything in your deck, which is really cool. This is the Rank Up Magic spell, Hyper Rank Up Magic Utopia Force. I run a couple other cards. This one's not out yet, and you can really toss this. It's not really that important. It's something I've been testing. You can just like run another like Photon Advancer or something like that. But, you know, if you open up Galaxy 100, which is like one of the best cards, because it gives you an extra normal summon and a rank 8 body, which is obviously pretty good, you kind of want to have room to search other cards that are good. One of those is Last Hope, and the other one is Expedition. But Expedition, I kind of tend to think I would want to keep in here. But, you know, the other one that's not out yet is fine. It's kind of a wash. It's cool if it, like, in the right situations. And again, everything's searchable, so it's not really that big of a deal. But this card's a little less bad to see in your opening hand versus this one, which can kind of just, like, do nothing for you. You have to have a lot of setup for it. Onto the extra deck. Zeus, obviously. Pretty cool, right? You can make really big Zeuses if you have this card in your hand. If you steal an opponent's XYZ monster, especially that already has material, you can make giant Zeuses, or you can just like straight up make a big Zeus, right? Cypher Dragon into armor, and then you can go into Zeus. Obviously, that's pretty good. Number 99, no surprises there. I talked about full armor. It's also quite have a 4,000 attack body in the in the graveyard, especially if your opponent, I don't know, like let's say is playing skill drain, like big monster skill drain. At least you have a 4,000 attack body, which your opponent probably like won't have. That's a lot of attack points. Still a good card. It's one of my favorites just because of how it's colored. It's really why I started liking this deck. Number 38, Hope Harbinger. Number 90, Photon Lord. Number 23, Lancelot. It's just an Omni Negate. It's kind of your only protection against evenly matched. Luckily, it normally is the first thing that your opponent will activate, so at least you give yourself some sort of chance. And under the right circumstances, sometimes you can have too many monster negates, and you kind of do want to just have an Omni for like maybe some other spell, and your opponent just basically has to eat a card and trade with this one. So it's pretty good. I actually like 100% recommend you play it. S39, number 39, no surprises there. Galaxy Photon Dragon I've been talking about. Utopic Sage I mentioned. The F-Zero package is right here. This is one card you could take out. There's also like a bunch of rank 4s that you could run, like literally any number, but there's a Photon card that is also kind of good that I haven't really experimented with yet too much, but Photon Blast Dragon special summons like a Photon monster from your hand, and it can like bring stuff back, which is obviously pretty good for extenders, but if you do... Sometimes you can like go into Galaxy 100 and, attach it with Afterglow, and then you can use Felgrand's effect to like banish something from your opponent's extra deck before they start their turn, which can be pretty good. And, obviously Cashier got that hit where you don't have to really run 2 cards anymore, not like you used to. So maybe your opponent goes back to playing one of cards that they really need, and you can rip them. Like that's pretty much the idea behind it. But no side deck, and make whatever side deck you want. The format's changed so constantly. The side deck's kind of just silly unless you like actually took this to a tournament. But let's go ahead. I'll show you basically how this works. And the fun thing about this deck is there's actually like a pretty high, not skill ceiling, but like being good at the deck. Like there's definitely like, it's not straightforward and simple. Like a lot of hands are very different in the way that you order things. And like you can get better end boards the more you play it. So it's like one of those decks that are fun because it's a little rewarding. Also, you feel of Galaxy Eyes. It's just really cool to combo off of like your favorite deck. If you ever see these 2 cards in your hand, Photon Summoner and it's not Summoner, Galaxy Summoner, and then you also have the new card, the Delta Wing. It's really good, right? Because both are 2 level 4 monsters, and that's really all you need for a deck like this. And you can level manipulate however you want. And you can get like really creative. Like this lets you make anything an 8 or a 4. So if you already have all the 4s that you need, because you actually don't run that many like rank 4 monsters in your extra. Most of the power comes from the rank 8s, obviously. So it's really cool that you can like, sometimes we use it to, level manipulate to 4, like as that extender, but sometimes you don't need it. And that's pretty nice. And this is basically everything. This is almost full combo here. You obviously, like here, okay, I have 2 monster negates and a spell, right? That's pretty cool. So it's like I don't really need anything else in terms of like I need another monster to get or something else. So this is one time where I would go into Lancelot. That way, like if your opponent starts with something like you have an answer, like a spell card, and then they have triple tactics talent, that beats me so many times. But now you at least kind of sort of have a better answer for it. Your opponent only is going to have 6 cards in their hand. So chances are, maybe you can have that backup for those really powerful cards like Thrust. Versus this maybe just being like a monster negate, which doesn't really do anything. And as soon as my opponent attaches, obviously, this comes out and I get to look at their extra deck and banish a card. So just, it helps. Everything helps, right? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go through, take a look at this game against Sprite. This was pretty cool. My opponent had a bunch of interruption. Didn't use it at the right time, but still impressive for Galaxy Eyes, trust me. So I have 2 Imperm, which is really cool, right? I do have 10 going second cards. Can't hurt the consistency a little bit. Consistency isn't really a huge issue for the deck, but obviously, having 10 is okay. It's like one of the higher hand trap counts I've had in this deck, like, ever. I feel like as long as you stop, like, blue, and then you start, like, stop Sprite, they can't really do anything. Look at this. He's going to bounce this. It's not a once per turn special summon, so that was a waste. Did have Ash, though, so here we go. He's not done yet. Photon Orbital. Just had a really, really good opening. Normally, it would be nice if you had one other card in hand. You can go, like, Galaxy Soldier, but no big deal. So he also has Ghost Ogre. Okay, I can keep going. I still get the Search. So I'm going to get the extra normal summon now, which is really important. So I can bring something back, which is really nice. And then I can continue to combo off here. I kind of mess up here. I definitely shouldn't have done all of this. I feel like I am going to have the extra body to attack over something, but I don't remember what it was and the way that I ordered it, but I could have made something a rank 8, and that would have been like significantly better, and maybe had one other form of interruption, but that's okay. because I do have a massive advantage here. So I'm going to go ahead and activate the effect. I thought one of the chances he also has evenly matched didn't seem very likely. You know, it looks like he's just playing like kind of a normal hand trap thing. And you always go into Hope Harbinger first because your opponent may have quick play spells. Like those are way more common than like draw phase monster effects, like 99% of the time. I used to go into Photon Lord first, but definitely the wrong decision. You always go into Hope Harbinger in my experience. On to the next replay here. It is against Runic Naturia. I don't open the best hand ever, but it does work. It gets the job done. So Delta Wing can summon another copy of itself. And then 100 can go ahead and send and give me the extra normal summon, which is fantastic because there is a rank 4 as an Omni search for the archetype. So Galaxy Summoner is also going to come to my hand here. That way I can normal summon, bring that back. And I can at least have F0 and number 99. Not the best thing in the world, but I'm going to have a monster negate, a spell negate, and I'm probably going to go into Lancelot just because I have kind of like an even distribution. And Photon Lord also, you know, is mostly a monster negate, so I could probably go ahead and do this. He's going to go for, I think, flashing, which is fine. Doesn't really do anything. I'm not going to let him search the fountain, right? He's just going to go -1. I do have the answer for fountain. This is like the first negate. It's like not optional. And then he goes for tip, right? If the last card in his hand is a runic card, that's even better for me. I'm sure that set down card right there was the Sacred Tree, right? So it doesn't really do anything at all. I'll go ahead and show a couple more videos or combos or gameplay, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, like you can play Nubia, right? That's a light attribute, so it does help. But like I said, you almost always want to send a Galaxy card. You don't really want to send your hand traps. So that's why I kind of took them out, you know, and replaced them with like Dark Ruler No More, Lightning Storm, and all that kind of good stuff. Like they're just more ubiquitously good, right? Especially Lightning Storm. There's like every deck in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like they're at least gonna have to spend like a negate on it. You'll never like have it. It'll never be dead in your hand if you're going second. And there we go, F0. So as long as I go into Photon Lord here, which hopefully I do, I can now summon Afterglow. So this counts as a Galaxy-Eyes monster, which is really, really cool. And there goes Felgren, right? You can target itself. That can give me a Photon Dragon. And then I can look at my opponent's extra deck. Playing like a comically, like, just like, extra deck ever. Everything's a 3 of. So it was, like, really depressing. I was, like, so excited I was going to play something. I was like, oh, I'm going to rip something really important. It was all 3 of. It was probably, like, playing Pot of Extravagance. It looked like a loner deck, to be honest with you. And the last one I'll show here is against Hero. The Hero end board is not good, so don't get your hopes up here. But I do get to do some cool stuff that I think is worth at least looking at. He's going to go for Shadow Mist. I think he's going to draw a couple cards. I don't really know what's going on here. I think he's just going to search a trap and then call it a day. He goes for Emergency Call. I think he probably just does nothing. Alright, like I said, not important. Don't pay attention to what he's doing. Okay, so I didn't get to use the normal summon effects of Galaxy Summoner, but it's on normal or special summon, and like I said, you get an extra normal summon, so it could just be used as a 4 now, and really that's all I kind of needed. Yeah, Galaxy Soldier is so important if Emperor's in your hand, because otherwise it's like literally stuck here. There's no other cards that I know of that for the discarding. I'm not going to have a rank 8 here. Look at this, it's a level 8, so that's really, really cool. His fusion monster's a level 8, so I can use it to XYZ summon. He is going to go for Absolute, so I have to be careful, right? He can destroy all my cards, but that's okay. I can just, you know, go rank up on top here. You know, I can go into F0, rank up on top for full armor, pop it. He's going to try to use the effect to pop my field, and then I'll just negate it, right? And then I can go into Utopia and then go into my 2 negates. So every, you know, zone on my field is going to be filled with the monster, which is pretty neat, to be honest with you. So yeah, that is the most updated Galaxy list and my combos and gameplay. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.